Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the His and Her Money Show, where we make it our business to help you take dominion over your money and your life. Thank you for tuning in because you don't have to, but the fact that you're here, we want you to know that we are grateful to have you tuned in to the show. If you're listening to the podcast, do us a favor, leave a review because when you do so, that lets the podcast platforms know that this is a show that people need to hear about. So if you want to help us help more people, leave us a review today. We are excited about today's episode because we love to just bring you, in addition to information, we love to bring you inspiration. We love to tell you and introduce you to people who are real, who paid off real debt, and they have real stories and twists and turns that they had to endure along the way. Now, why do we do that? Because we want you to create a story of your own. And we know that the more examples we can put before you, the more encouraged you will be to take this journey to financial freedom. And today's guest has an amazing story that she's going to share and encourage you with. Her name is Jennifer Trinidad, and she is going to bless our ears and eyes with her journey to paying off a whole bunch of debt. So get ready to be inspired. Let's get Jennifer on so we can hear her incredible story. Hey, Jennifer, welcome to the His and Her Money Show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
We are so glad that you are here with us because you and your husband, you've done some amazing things in this debt freedom journey that you went on, and we can't wait to hear more about it. But some people are being introduced to you for the very first time right here and right now. So for them, can you say hello and introduce yourself and let them know what you're all about?
Sure. So, my name is Jennifer Trinidad, and I live in Honolulu, Hawaii. My husband and I paid off 90,000 of debt in 4 years. And so the first 4 years were, the first 2 years were really a struggle because we, went through Dave Ramsey's program. We loved it. But living on a beans and rice diet, not going on vacation, not doing anything fun was really miserable. And, I've been watching the His and Her Money for a really long time, watching you guys on YouTube. And there was this one video that really caught my attention. And you and Ty were talking about how you were mystery shoppers and made some money doing mystery shopping. So I thought, wait a minute, I thought mystery shopping was a scam. I'm always getting those emails. And I started going through the links that you had posted in YouTube. And that was really the pillar to getting us out of debt. So in that third year in 2019, we were able to pay off $41,000 of debt just because we had that extra side hustle to keep us moving.
Man, I'm so glad to hear that. Number one, I mean, we did that video years ago, and to know that it still is making an impact because you're right. A lot of people think that mystery shopping is a scam, and we just kind of went on it ourselves. It's kind of how we do everything. We try it out before we tell people publicly to see if it's legit or not, and it was. It blessed us on our journey, and I'm so glad to hear that it blessed you and your husband on the way to your journey as well. So let's rewind the tape a little bit. What was the thing, the moment that made you all want to get out of debt? Because the truth be told, a lot of people, we've become accustomed to having debt in our life. It's become normalized. Our neighbors got debt, our friends got debt, our families got debt. So debt is just a thing that most people have to endure. But something caused you all to say, I don't want to keep doing this. I want to do something different. What was that?
So back in 2015, I was working in a job, and looking at the career ladder, it was just like a no-brainer. Starting off as a manager, working my way up the career ladder into vice president, and eventually the owner wanted me to take over the company. But it was a lot of coming home late at night, not seeing my family, working on the weekends, dedicating my time to the job versus my family was really the breaking point for me. At that time, my son was entering high school, and I knew that I only had few more years left before he was going to college. So seeing that my credit card and my student loans were not going down, that three, four, $500 that I was paying every single month to credit cards and to student loans and not even making a dent in the principal was that breaking point that something needed to change. And so I had left that job to another job that had more of a work life balance, but did not have the commission checks anymore that I needed to make those extra payments. But I was determined to find a way to pay off this debt and still have a life with my family.
So it sounds like the quality of life issue was at the center of, you wanted to create a world that you were happy with, because some people, um, we go to work, we come home, go to sleep, and do it all over again, and we just kind of get caught up in this cycle of just existing and not really living, not really being able to thrive with the days that we have before us. And so what was that? You've been going through these thoughts, it sounds like, on your own. How did you present this to your husband, get him on board, share your heart?
Such a great question. He actually was not on board at first, mainly because my words did not match with my actions. So I said, we're ready to get out of debt. We're ready to follow this debt free plan and get on a budget. But my actions were still going to the retail store, still buying things at Target. You know, I love all the shiny things in Target. Target is like my number one weakness. And then the breaking point, the turning point was when he saw that I wasn't going to Target as much anymore. Or if I went to Target, I would go in with a list and only buy those things on a list. And something in him changed. Like he kind of tilted his head, like, something is going on with my wife that's really making her change her mind about the money mindset. And I would show him our Excel spreadsheets. Like, this is where we are in our budget. This is where our money is going. This is where we need our money to be in order to hit our goals. And that was really that changing point of him getting on board and saying, if you're on board, I'm on board too. And let's do this together so that we both can achieve our goals.
All right. So, big takeaway for all of us, especially if you're in a position where you're trying to get your significant other on board: actions speak louder than words. I love the fact that you shared that at first you were talking a good game, but you were still going to Target, like we like to call it, because it is full of shiny things. I mean, it's a nice environment in there. Every time you go in Target, you just, oh, look at all the new stuff. That's for anybody. And so, how did you? We know that you did it. How hard was it? How hard was it for you to make these internal, individual changes that were the springboard for you all to come together on this topic? It had to start with you, but I'm sure that it wasn't easy for it to start with you.
It was extremely hard, but what had changed my mind about budgeting, personal finance, and frugality — I don't like that word frugal, I resonate with the word intentional — is yes, being intentional with my money. So I tell people, if that $5 latte gives you joy in the morning and makes the day go so much better at work, enjoy that $5 latte. But give up something else that's not important to you. I talked to a gentleman who said he didn't cancel his DirecTV bill for a long time and was paying $220 a month for over 2 years. And you compound that by 2 years, that's almost $5,000. So getting into that headspace of I can get what I want, I just have to be intentional with my finances, really brought me back into going into Target. If I'm going to the dollar spot and I see something that costs $1, $5, $10, do I really need it? Probably not. But when I'm saving that money, I can go ahead and put that into a sinking fund for Christmas, and then I can go to Target and buy whatever I want. So having that mentality of just changing that mindset of what is important to me at this time of life and what do I want in my future really made the headway for both of us. And my husband was on board with that as well.
Nice. Now, once you all got to the place to where both of you all were in agreement that you need to change and that you need to pursue debt freedom, what was step one?
Step one was the hardest, and it was looking at the numbers. And looking at those numbers was really hard because that end number, seeing that we were $90,000 debt, which consisted of student loans, credit cards, and back taxes, seemed like it was going to take forever to get out of debt. And even if we had cut everything to the bare minimum, it was still going to take 3 to 4 years to be debt free. And so those first 2 years were really, really hard, to the point where our friends and family were saying, "Are you guys okay? Do you have marriage problems? Why are you not hanging out with us anymore?" But it was because we were so ashamed that we were in debt and we didn't have extra money to go out with our friends and family. And so, in that third year in 2019, when I found that I was able to make extra money and go shopping at the same time, gave me hope, gave me light, gave me color back in my skin because I felt like alive again.
Now let's back up to that period there where you all were pursuing debt freedom and had to adjust your lifestyle and were feeling the shame. How did y'all persevere? How did you not fall back and say, you know what, forget this. This is too much. I'm not even feeling alive right now. How did you all deal with what you were feeling about not being able to do what you used to do and continue to push forward toward your goals?
I give a lot of credit to our Bible Study Connect group. We had been with these people for years and didn't say a word about our debt free journey. And in that third year, when we told them what was happening, and a lot of them in our group are older than us, they embraced us. They told us, "We know where you are. We've been there. We'll support you. We'll give you all of the resources that you need as far as encouragement, motivation, accountability to keep you on track with your debt free journey and your end goals." So, surrounding ourselves with the right people gave us hope and kept us motivated. And the most important thing is there's one lady in our Connect group who would text me all the time, "Hey, how are you doing with your debt free journey? What do you need help with?" And it was really that piece that was missing because doing it alone was very hard. Was, I think, if you don't surround yourself with the right people, then you probably won't get very far in your debt free journey.
Wow. Accountability is huge. So I'm curious because when people think about expensive places to live, they think about New York City, here in Chicago, or maybe even LA. But Hawaii is not cheap at all to live. And so you all are married, you all have kids, and now you're on this debt free journey. How, I mean, talk about how you all had to tighten up the ship and how did you all make sure that as you all were pursuing debt freedom in this expensive locale, that you all were doing everything necessary to stay, at a certain level with your expenses so that you can have money to throw at your debt. After all, you are a budget diva. That's the name of your platform. So break down some of that strategy for us.
I was really determined not to live on a rice and beans diet. And so I would watch shows on YouTube like the His and Her Money Show on extreme couponing. And I watched Ty and her sister explain the details of how they were extreme couponers. And so I found ways to cut down on our grocery budget and our household budget by getting things for free or getting things at a really deep discount, but also knowing that if there's a coupon for something that I don't need, I probably shouldn't buy that. I probably should save that money for something that we do need, like regular grocery items. And yes, here in Hawaii, to give you an idea, a gallon of milk can cost you $10. a dozen eggs can cost you $5. Bread can cost you $7, $8. So really knowing how to DIY, I bought a bread machine and I made my own bread. I would go to different stores and look for the cheapest milk or the cheapest eggs and writing it down, knowing that this store has the cheapest item, this store I should shop for to get my groceries or my household items, and then using those Target couponing apps as well to lower my grocery budget. So just being, I want to say, being really scrappy and just being really creative and knowing that you don't have to sacrifice everything in your life. You can just be creative and do your own thing. So, my husband as well, he loves working on cars. So, if something happens with our car that needed fixing, if he could fix it, he would do it on his own. So, yes, just being really creative with your finances and knowing what you can do to lower those bills.
Now it was several years ago that Ty and I did mystery shopping, and so you've done it more recently. So unpack this strategy for us in a contemporary context. How did you get started? What type of things were you doing? Because you adequately said, you thought that mystery shopping was a scam. And I think there are some scammy things out there, but there are also some legitimate things out there. So talk us through how you began this journey into the world of mystery shopping and used it to expedite your debt freedom journey.
I probably watched that video that you recorded about 3 to 4 times and went through those links that you posted, registered online, tried one company first, see if I succeeded, and then went on to do more companies. And so the first one that I did was a fast food place, and that was pretty easy. And then there were other shops that were very short, did not require a lot of questionnaire answers. And then I moved on to the ones that were a little bit more intermediate and more advanced. And in 2019, I think we made about $15,000 plus got reimbursed for the food and the other things that we had to buy, to the point where a company reached out to me and said, we're willing to fly you to the other Hawaiian Islands to do mystery shopping for us. Paid for our car, paid for our hotel. We basically got a free trip and free stuff. And this was all in 2019 before the pandemic. But it was just being consistent, learning that you will make mistakes. Mystery shopping, I made a ton of mistakes, but I never gave up. And communicating with those companies, like, I'm so sorry I made this mistake. Can I do it again? Taking that loss and doing it over so that I would have credibility and they would know that I'm a reliable shopper.
Imagine a life where your money isn't strangled by mortgage payments. Imagine what you could do when you don't have to send them money that you work so hard for. Come get simple, powerful, and real solutions to eliminating monthly mortgage payments forever. America's #1 money couple presents Crush My Mortgage. In this exclusive course, you will be equipped with strategies to help you move faster toward the promised land of owning your house free and clear. Learn strategies to help you in the areas of payment acceleration, extra income generation, and wealth creation, all to help you crush your mortgage. Visit crushmymortgage.com and get started today. Join us on the path to power, freedom, and legacy. That's crushmymortgage.com.
So, are there some companies, if you can remember, I don't know if you can remember off the top of your head, but for people that are like being introduced for this concept, they're like, whoa, who should I reach out? Like, what companies did you find success with?
Yeah, so if you go onto the MSPA America's website, they have a whole list of companies that you can go through depending on where you live. For us, it was Market Force, Ipsos, and Janssen. Those three companies were the top three that really made headway. And then there's a local company here in Hawaii called Consumer Service Analysis. So, but would say Market Force, Ipsos, and Janssen, they have a lot of mystery shops around the country for those three. And most of their jobs are really easy to start. So if you're interested in it, but not really sure of if it's the right fit for you, I would say try one of those companies first.
Now, give an example. Any example. Like if somebody has never known what happens on a mystery shop, walk them through from start to finish.
When you go onto the website, they'll ask you to register. So you'll put in your basic information, and then they have what's called your extended profile. And your extended profile is an overview of your household income, where you live, other details that are important to them, only because they want to qualify you for certain jobs that what their client is looking for. Once you create that profile, you'll be introduced to the job board, which will tell you based on the zip code you put in, here are a list of job listings that are available to you. And so the job listings is very good in terms of they'll tell you exactly what you have to do, how much you'll get paid, and if there's a reimbursement. So, for example, if there's a fast food company out there, they'll tell you you need to go between these dates, this time, this is how much we'll pay you. This is the reimbursement that you'll get for the food that you have to purchase. And here are our payment terms. And most companies pay between 1 week to 30 days. So once you decide, yes, this is the shop for me, you will request the shop. Once it's assigned to you, you'll get the full details of what you need to do step by step to successfully perform that shop, submit it, and then get paid. So I love working with these companies because they're so open to new shoppers. And if you have a question, they have a link and they respond pretty fast within 24 hours to help walk you through the process so that you'll successfully complete the shop.
Very nice. Now, how did you stay organized? Because, like you said, sometimes you got to put money out up front that'll get reimbursed in addition to the money that they send you for the payment of the shop. So, how did you and your husband, and also, did your husband do shops as well? And how did you all keep everything organized?
So my husband was my driver. I don't like to drive at all. So he would drive, and in exchange, he would be able to get free food. So I kept myself organized by just creating an Excel spreadsheet and putting the date, when I had to do it, and keeping track of when the shop got approved and when I got paid for the shop. So as soon as I got paid for the shop, only the payment part, not the reimbursement, is what I would put into my budget. So I would label it Ipsos, and they paid me $30 this month. Because you do have to put a little bit of money aside to pay for the food before you get reimbursed, I just had a little bit extra money into a separate account that I would use towards the shop. So maybe $100 to $200, knowing that I would get reimbursed within 30 days.
Now, I remember kind of vaguely when you went on MSPA, they also had the option to be like certified. Um, is that something that you did, something that you would recommend? Is it necessary? What's your thoughts on that?
I did actually get certified, and I don't think that it helped. What helps you get more jobs is just being reliable, doing more jobs. When the company reaches out to you and says, we need this job done ASAP, are you able to do it? Even if it's out of your way and you're a new shopper, I would say if you have the time, take that shop, because they're going to remember you when they have that shop that everybody wants. Say, for example, it's a fine dining restaurant that every shopper wants. If you're the reliable shopper and you're the person that has always helped them out, they'll remember that. So they're more likely to give you that requested shop over everybody else.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that was, in addition to getting the side hustle income aspect, it was we were able to use these shops within our lifestyle. So you just brought up like the fine dining restaurant. So we would be getting paid to go on a date night in our city. Sometimes grocery stores like Aldi, we would have to go and do mystery shop. So that's where we were going to go get the groceries from anyway. And so some of these you're able to work into your lifestyle just as a part of some of the things that you were going to do anyway. And so there's just multiple layers of why this is a beneficial side hustle that more people should be taking a look at it. Any other ways that you incorporated these into your lifestyle?
Yes, absolutely. If we were going to be, say we had an appointment that was 20 to 30 miles away, I would check the apps and see if there were shops that I could do along the way or in that specific area. And you're right, if I need to go grocery shopping, I am sure to check if there are grocery shops available that I can do in a certain area. One of the things that I teach on my podcast is how to get out of debt without sacrificing your social life. So yes, we use those fine dining shops to go on date nights, and it was so much fun. So I would say, if you're knowing that you're going to, say that you have an appointment in X city, um, make sure that you look at the apps and see if there are shops along the way, so that not only will it pay for your gas, but it will also help you to lower your grocery bill or lower any other bills that you have. And then see if you can use that money for date nights as well. That was one thing that kept us motivated on our debt-free journey, is being excited and knowing that we didn't have to eat our home cooked food 7 days a week. We could actually take a break and go out and enjoy somebody else's food.
Yeah. Now, when you say apps, we didn't have that when we were doing it. So each of these companies has their own apps to where they're showing what shops are active at the moment.
Yes. So Market Force has an app called Eyes On. Ipsos has their own app called Ipsos. And then there's iSecret Shop, which is kind of like your mall of different companies. And in that app, we'll have all the different companies and the shops aligned with that company.
Very nice. Very nice. So, how were you using the money toward the debt-free journey? Was it like you would bank up a few and then send some money towards the debt? What did that look like in this process?
So all the shops that I got paid for, I would put it in my budget. And at the end of the month, I would tally how much money I made within that month and put it straight to the debt. We never kept 1 cent of it, because we knew that the faster we put that money towards our debt, the faster we would be able to get out of debt. And seeing that number go down every single month by making that extra payment really kept us motivated.
Yeah. Now I know that some people are going to look into this and they're going to find like every shop ain't this like home run payday. Some be like $10. You know what I mean? But you all kept stacking. Like, what was your approach on selecting shops? Did you look at the payment that they would give you, or their closeness to your vicinity? How did you factor in? This shop only pays this versus this shop pays that.
When you first start out, yes, you'll need to take those shops that don't pay as much. So maybe $10, $5 shops. But as you get to know the system, you'll see that towards the end of the month or towards a certain time period, there will be bonus shops. So, for example, if there's a burger company that's only paying $9, sometimes they would reach out to me and say, "Hey, I know this is 5 miles or 10 miles away from you. Are you willing to do it for $25 or $30?" And so I would take that shop, but only if I could get other shops around it to make it worth my while. So if I'm taking that $30 shop, I'm looking for other shops in that area. And my minimum is usually $100. So if I can do $100 in one day with these shops, that'll take me about 2 hours. Sure, I'll drive that far to do it and make an extra $100 in one day.
Yeah, okay. I like that strategy a whole lot. So now you all were plugging away for 3 years at this debt, and now you all are mystery shopping and you all are being strategic and you're making headway. And the day came, that day where you were able to make your very final debt payment. Some people are listening, wondering what does that feel like? They've been visualizing it. They're not there yet, but they wonder what was it like. Paint the picture for them.
It's actually a very interesting story because we could have been debt free at the end of 2019. But what happened in 2019? We were ramping up for what happened in 2020, coronavirus. So we kind of stopped. We said that we wanted to keep that money in our savings account for now. And then about a few months later, we decided to pay it off. And so paying it off was really exciting, but it was at the height of COVID. So at the same time, we didn't know if we were making the right choice or not, to pay off that last $5,000 of debt. But what kept us motivated was just knowing that we had the skills and experience to do more side hustles or to increase our income somehow. And so that's why we made that final decision to just pay it off. And so we didn't have a big celebration because it was in the middle of COVID where everything was closed. But towards the end of the year, yes, we did celebrate with a nice dinner. And Disneyland is like our number one thing. We love Disneyland. We haven't gone back since a few years. So we're definitely planning a trip and going to be celebrating our entire debt free journey at Disneyland.
I love it. I love it. Outstanding. Actually, that's where we took our kids after we paid our house off. That was something that we wanted to do, and we did it, and it was amazing. It's going to be amazing for y'all too. So, what now? You all went on an incredible journey, and you all made it happen. You all achieved the goal that you set for yourself, $90,000, which is amazing. What is the next objective for you all?
The next thing is we would love to move up in house in Hawaii. It's really, really expensive to purchase a house in Hawaii, but that is our next step. And to follow his and her money on how to pay off that house in just a few years.
Yeah, you can do it. You've already proven to yourself that you can make it happen. So super, super proud of you all for doing the work necessary to get the job done. What type of impact has it had on your marriage, on your family, going through this, not just going through it, but accomplishing this goal?
Such a huge impact. With my husband, when we were in debt, we actually didn't join our bank accounts, because it was mainly just his money, her money. And it really put a strain on our marriage. And then when we decided, okay, this is ridiculous, we need to join forces, put our finances together, and actually get on a plan, that's when the stress went away. Because no longer did I say, why are you spending so much money on gas? Why are you spending on this? Why are you spending on that? It's like, no, we're both being intentional with our money. We both at the beginning of the month say, this is how much we're spending on food, on gas, on other things. He has his spending money, I have my spending money. And so it's really helped our marriage in that way. And not only that, our son is now in college and he's starting to think differently about money. He's starting to see that mom and dad are not going to be paying for everything. I have to get a job. I have to live on my own. And this past year, he actually did just that. You know, he worked two jobs while in school, during the pandemic, instead of going to Seattle, he stayed home that first year so that we could save money. And then he worked 2 jobs on the side so that he could save the money for when he went up to Seattle in 2021.
Nice. Congratulations to him. Shout out to your son. So I know people want to keep up with you and all that you are going to be doing, even moving forward. And so tell everybody about your website, your offerings, social media. How can they stay connected to you?
Sure. So you can find me on my podcast, Budget Divas, or on my website at budgetdivas.com.
Awesome. Now, there may be somebody listening who is like totally cheering you on for what you all were able to do, but they don't have the confidence within themselves to think that they can accomplish the same thing. They look at their debt and they're like, I don't think I can do what Jennifer did. What words of encouragement would you offer to that person if you had the chance to talk to them?
I would say get off of social media and stop following every single person that is telling you to do something different. Follow just one person that you resonate with and do their steps. So if you resonate with someone like Dave Ramsey, don't go looking for another person who is saying something against Dave Ramsey. If you just follow one plan and you stick with that plan and you do bite-sized chunks every single time according to that plan, you will get to your goal. You just have to pick which plan resonates with you. So I'd say my problem in the beginning was trying to follow everybody's advice and not knowing where to start, which of course put me into analysis paralysis. But once I stopped and I said, I'm only going to follow these certain people on YouTube and I'm going to follow this plan that resonates me, that's when I was able to make a lot of progress.
Awesome. Jennifer, we can't say thank you enough for coming and sharing your wisdom, your story, and your advice with our audience today. Thank you for coming by the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another fantastic edition of the His and Her Money Show is in the books. I hope that you were inspired by everything that Jennifer shared. The items, the websites and articles and things that she mentioned are in the show notes of this episode. So take a look, take action. Please don't just hear and watch this without doing something different, because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're always going to get what you've always been getting. And it's time for us to move in a different direction. Debt freedom can be yours. Jennifer is a shining example that it can be done. Now the ball is in your court. So let's get to moving. Let's take some action. That's all we got for this time, guys. It's been great. Until next time, peace.